Come, let us prepare. Make some good profits today. Our market left us big clues right here. I remembered yesterday's video. I told you we may lack the liquidity to head up and may grind a little further up. You see that pre-market. I mean, after hours yesterday, where we grinded a little bit up for the purpose of grabbing this blue liquidity here, right? So you see that happening in the futures market as well, right? So this was, it happened, and if it happened, so be it. You just have to wait out for that selling continuation, because the low-hanging fruit of this liquidity is still not fully grabbed, which is perfect for us tomorrow for FOMC. So you see a very clear wedge here as well. So this becomes very, very beautiful, right? And you have to pay very close attention to these two very important liquidity levels here. Now, nothing's changed from today. It's quite straightforward day. The most important thing, I'll make this very brief, so I have to rush for a meeting later. So members, please do review, right, today's analysis here. But the very simple trade for today was understanding the tapering. So at 10:40, right, when we were selling quite aggressively here. So this was at 10:40 a.m., right? So 10:40 here. See it for yourself. Once you understand the teal and the pink, the relationship between this becomes quite straightforward here, right? So you see how the market grabbed the liquidity from the pink liquidity there. And obviously you see how we stopped penny perfect at the 5-day moving average. Just see this for yourself there. So this was quite a beautiful trade right there. If you manage to understand, very importantly, how this pink is building support here. Now, nearing to end of day, there was this safety play. If you've been trading with me for a while, this becomes almost second nature to you, right? So at 14:32, 2:32, which was here. This was 2:32 p.m., right? I talked about how we returned to the 5-day moving average and power hour for safety, close to power hour, and there you see it. We indeed returned to the 5-day for safety. So if you're trading with me for a long time, this becomes quite a mainstay in our playbook. So there you go. And this was only because we have started to reclaim the pink, as I shown you earlier as well. So quite importantly, we have FOMC tomorrow, so please do not overtrade. I will be checking in only in the afternoon tomorrow when Powell makes his announcement. But importantly, you have to understand there are a few very key levels here. You see the blue already building very strong liquidity here, right? So this is fantastic. If this heads down, this becomes really straightforward. So you have to pay very close attention to this particular level here. Larger liquidity, if this wants to further dump, well, obviously will be within the range of this blue. Let me just chart it a little bit clearer here. Right in the range here. If this wants to further dump, there is another range here. But I would think it may, if there is downside, I would rather the 5-day start to trend down. So that's one of the conditions. Remember, I talked about if this wants to continue heading down, you want to see the 5-day continue trending down. So it may take time. Don't be too hasty, right? Level by level, algorithm by algorithm. So this is where you have to focus on first if this wants to head down. Now, we didn't grab this liquidity on the way down because it was after hours and pre-market. So this is actually quite beautiful. Remember, yesterday I mentioned that grabbing the liquidity from the 5-day will be very ideal, right? So pay close attention to that. And there are two levels here, right? One here and one more here. So this will be quite beautiful if we do grab both liquidity then. And by then it will be quite clear if 5-day has already turned into some sort of support. So pay close attention. This is quite an important wedge for tomorrow. Hopefully we stay in the wedge until Powell. That would be great. We will have built enough liquidity then. There are many instances where when Powell speaks, the market moves in a direction and the next day it dumps very, very strongly. So it happens. There are days as well that when Powell speaks, it dumps and then it rallies throughout the entire rest of the week. So you cannot be complacent. It doesn't necessarily go a singular direction. You must understand the stock market is like that, and you have to find profits in the charts. Now remember, watch yesterday's video. I talked a lot about very key concepts here that I want to briefly talk about here. Now, you see it for yourself now, right? When the bottom Bollinger has started reclaiming the bottom here. Right, so this is one sign that I told you that there are a potential pullback that can happen. You see the 20-day moving average as well coming closer to the target that I want it to, near to the 700 level. And as I mentioned, right, you want to see the 5-day starting to plateau and starting to trend down. So this is when you want this, and you want the upper Bollinger to start trending down as well. Now this is when you know the possibility of it pulling back to the 20-day moving average can happen. The 20-day moving average retest happens on average once a month. So we have not retested that for quite some time. And so it's due for a retest to the 20-day moving average. Well, it happened this week, level by level, algorithm by algorithm, right? Don't be rushing this, as I mentioned. Let's clear this first, right? Before we talk about 20-day moving average. Let's clear this first before we talk about 20-day moving average. Let's wait for the 5-day to start trending down, building more liquidity on the way down before we talk about 20-day moving average. If we get there, you will not miss it. And we also want the 20-day to get closer to where the 700 level is as well for the bottom Bollinger to catch up closer to the lows. Where the 200-day moving average is. So ideally, market does something like that, a pull back to 20-day, and we grab the liquidity. I want you to see for yourself, how can this form? Yeah, right, you imagine, right, we grab the liquidity, 20-day moving average, and we grab it back up. This is going to be absolutely beautiful if we have a pullback like that. This will be healthy. It will be healthy. But if we are truly crashing, and some of you are dying for the crash, you have to wait. 5-day has to trend down. Your 20-day has to trend down back under your 200-day moving average again. Your upper Bollinger has to start trending down as well. So there are many more steps before a major crash can happen. So some of you are dying for a crash just because we are at a high. You cannot be thinking like that, right? You have to think before you get to step number 5. You need to think from step 1 to 4. So you cannot be skipping any steps. There are no shortcuts to this, right? And likewise, if the market wants to get to step 5, it has to accomplish step 1, 2, 3, 4 before step 5. So understand that, right? You have to snap yourself out of this sort of hallucinations or hope trading. You have to come back to terms to actually trading properly, making money to feed your family and achieving your daily objectives. That's what you need to be doing. All right, so stay grounded. Tomorrow's FOMC. There will be, volatility. And hopefully we grab some very key liquidity for some quite beautiful moves tomorrow. So thank you very much for watching. Oh yeah, one more thing, right? You see the orange, it's still, right? I talked about that orange, yes? You see that happening now? The orange is still in that continuation. So anyway, watch yesterday's video and the video before that, right? Chain up the thought process so this becomes more contextualized for you, and you are armed with the background context, with the knowledge to prepare on how to be finding profits in the charts. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you closer to